Karmic relationships are more like trauma bonding. Like you identify, those wounds and trauma in someone else, and it makes you feel comfortable, and that's the attraction. But it's not so much that way with twin flames. Like twin flames are usually a little bit more evolved and more healed. It's not always that painful. The painful part of a twin flame relationship is actually burning down your house. Like you start to change who you were before. Like you come in contact with this twin flame and suddenly, the things that you liked before you don't like anymore. The people you liked you don't like anymore. And you ascend to this like higher level of consciousness. I can't find words for it, but yeah.
And it's hard to define.
Yeah, it's hard to define.
Because it's a feeling. Unless you've experienced what it feels like having met somebody like this, it's really hard to articulate. And I think that's the reason why we're trying our best to communicate and talk about it, because it's a difficult thing to convey in words. If you've met a twin flame, if you've met a soulmate, there's some existential thing that happens in your body where the second this person is within your proximity, just in an instant starts to question your entire existence. Time seems to move a different way. Sometimes it becomes even non-existent. You start to feel this feeling in your solar plexus, this feeling of perhaps familiarity, that you've corresponded with this person before, that you've had intimacy with this person before. The most difficult thing about it is trying to figure out why it is that you're feeling this, because sometimes those things happen out of nowhere.
Or it could come from a dream too. Lots of people meet their twin flames in dreams and then carry on with their life after they've met their twin flame and had that connection. Even in the dream space, they're like, oh shit, they're always searching and always looking, even if they're in a soulmate relationship, even if they're happy, even if they're single, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're like habitually single and just can't find someone to be with because every single person they date is not their twin. And, they feel like they're missing that person. It can manifest in a couple ways.
That's a big error that I think people make. And this is a mistake I made once I started studying and getting into these two dynamics, is that once you find out what a twin flame is or a soulmate is, you go this is, I guess, a function of the ego. Automatically, you're looking for it everywhere.
Yeah.
Right. And you're judging your current relationship based off of this sort of philosophy that you have. You're going through this list that you find on fucking BuzzFeed, like, oh, does this person check up all of the boxes of being a twin flame? What I would say is that a twin flame and a soulmate relationship fucking happen out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Right. You're usually not looking for it.
Yeah.
Right. It's usually something that just peeks its head around the corner and all of a sudden they're in your life and you're like, where the fuck did you come from? I have dreamt about people that I've never met before in my life. People I've never in this life have met before. For whatever reason, in my dream, there's this familiarity with them. In my dream, there was this sincerity. Like I knew exactly who this person was in my dream.
Right.
But in real life, they didn't exist. Like, where does that come from? Like, where do we get the ability to just dream somebody out of nowhere that we know wholeheartedly exists, just not in this realm?